Yeah, it just needs to be switched. Equilibrium.
Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Hi, everybody. Look for the good in everyone. Come on in. People done gone crazy. People done gone mad. People done forgot the superpowers we all have. We were born to love, not hate. We can decide our fate. Look for the good in everyone and celebrate all our mistakes. If there's a silver lining, you still have to find it, find it, find it. Look for the good in everything. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone needs sunshine. Everyone needs rain. Everyone is carrying around some kind of pain. I see who you are, you're just like me. I see you're searching for a purpose, guided by a dream. I see who you are, I'm just like you. Yes, I get lost sometimes and I forget what I came here to do. I keep on trying, when it gets frightening. Look for the good in everything, yeah. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good Look for the good. Look for the good in everyone. Everyone is nature, everyone is God, everyone is love and light and vibration. Look for the good, ooh, look for the good. Everyone gets mad sometimes and maybe they should. Look for the good, look for the good. Oh, look out for all the heroes in your neighborhood. Look for the good, oh, look for the good. Don't you know that life would be sweeter if everybody would look for the good in everything, yeah, yeah. Look for the people who will set your soul free. It always seems impossible until it's done. Look for the good. Look for the good. Look for the God in everyone.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, band. That was beautiful. You're looking good. You're looking good. I don't even have to look to see that you are looking good and that you are God here with us today. Welcome. My name is Joni Lorraine. I am doing the message today. We loaned Reverend Cynthia to Unity South Austin this Sunday. So she's over there, although she is in town, and we are bringing it here at Unity Church of the Hills. Would you please join me in our vision statement? Centered in love and divine oneness, we transform ourselves, our community, and our world. And now our mission statement. We put God first, celebrate life, live unity principles, and empower each other to transform our lives. And in addition to welcoming all of you here, we welcome those of you who are online. We know that we have friends in Portugal, all around the world, and we welcome you into our space. Do we have any newcomers today? Welcome, hello, thanks for being willing, raising those hands. Well, that is great. If you want to fill out a connection card that is in front of you in the pew, we welcome you to do that. And we have a blessing, not just for our newcomers, but for everyone here. So if you will join me in that blessing, that would be wonderful. We love you, we bless you, we welcome you, and we behold the Christ you are. And in extension of that welcome, we invite you now to greet one another. Go ahead, get up, have a handshake, a hug.
While everybody's standing, please sing a song with me. I think you might recognize this one. 2, 3, 4. Think of your fellow man, lend him a helping hand, put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late, oh please don't hesitate, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you. for you and me and me. Just wait, just wait and see. Another day goes by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. If you want the world to know we won't let hatred grow, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see, wait and see. Take a good look around, and if you're looking down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide kindness will be your guide, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Oh, put a little love in your heart. 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 Oh, here we go now. Put a little love in your heart. Thanks, guys.
Let us join together in this moment. We include in this prayer time all who are here today and online, and those who will listen in the days to come. We include our congregation, our children, our visitors, our staff, our minister, our teachers, and all of our volunteers. We include our beautiful bookstore, our buildings, and our grounds in our prayer. And we include our intention of bringing forth our new minister, who will be revealed to us, and we will experience the joy as the minister joins our beautiful congregation. Infinite divine presence, the source of all wisdom and love, we open our minds and our hearts to a deeper understanding. In our prayer today, we release the need to see enemies or obstacles, and instead affirm that every experience is here to guide us, to teach us, and to awaken us to truth. We claim our divine wisdom, knowing that beyond every conflict is an opportunity for growth. We affirm understanding, recognizing that each person we encounter is walking their own sacred path. So we embrace forgiveness, not as a burden, but as a gift that sets us free. We experience clarity today, compassion and peace, and we see it in the eyes of love. We listen with the ears of spirit, and we walk forward in the light of grace. With grateful hearts, we give thanks for the guidance of spirit, and for the love that unites us and the peace that's already within us. And so we move forward with kindness, joy, and gratitude. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. Today I'm responsible for the Unity Moment. So, every Sunday we get up here and we talk about a particular book or something revolving around unity. And most of the books that we speak of are, traditional books that you read from cover to cover. This week I chose The Revealing Word by Charles Fillmore. Now this is actually a reference book. It's not a book you read from cover to cover. It's a dictionary of metaphysical terms. So it's a good companion when you're reading a book like the Bible, or perhaps some other unity book and there's a term or something in there that maybe you don't quite possibly understand. And so you can pick up this book, read what one of our founders said about that term, and maybe help you understand a little something. So in light of today's talk, I'm going to read a little definition out of here on the devil. So Charles Fillmore defines the devil as the mass of thoughts that has been built up in a net race consciousness through many generations of earthly experiences and crystallized into what may be termed human personality or carnal mind, which opposes and rejects God. The devil is a state of consciousness adverse to the divine good. Other names for this state of consciousness are the adversary, carnal mind, the accuser, and the old man. There is no personal devil. God is the one omnipresent principle of the universe, and there is no room for any principle of evil, personified or otherwise. So the next entry is actually how to overcome the devil. So let's see how we do that. The devil is overcome by denying his existence and by affirming universal Christ love for God and all men. The devils that we encounter are fear, anger, jealousy, and other similar negative traits, and they are in ourselves. Christ gives us the power to cast out these devils, thereby cleansing our consciousness. So, there it is. If you ever find yourself reading the Bible, or if you just avidly read the Bible, this book is pretty handy when it comes into reading like the parables or other things that are contained within the Bible. So I recommend that check it out, see if you like it. Thank you.
But I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulls from Mars
I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant world. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you,
because I knew you.
I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I've done you blame me for.
But then I guess we know there's blame to share,
And none of it seems to matter anymore.
like a comic book month as it passes us
By a wind off the
like a
sea,
stream that meets a boulder halfway through the world. Who can say
if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better.
And because I knew you,
Because I knew you. Because I knew you. I have been changed
for good.
Wow. Thank you, Lex, Courtney, the band. My goodness, once again, thank you. You might have noticed a theme for the talk today. It's Lent. And Lent started, this is the first Sunday of Lent, and Lent started on Ash Wednesday, this last Wednesday. And for those of you who, it's like the Christian Mercury retrograde. That part where we go back and invest, recreate, begin to look at those things that we are holding on to, that we can release. And in unity, as Rudy mentioned, it is about fasting from beliefs, unwanted beliefs, and feasting on truth. So denials and affirmations, really basic stuff that we do in unity here. We tend, though, don't we, to stick to the affirmations and then forget the denials. And denial, by the way, for those of you who are relatively new to unity, does not mean sticking your head in the sand. It actually means affirming what difficulties we may be having, acknowledging those, and denying their power over us. Just denying their power over us, right? And I'm also going to be talking a little bit today about our third principle, which is we create our experiences through thinking. And everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. So today, I am inviting you, if you hadn't noticed yet, to give up the bad guy by changing your perspective. When I was 19 years old, I did. Anybody do the S training? You remember here the S training? We've heard of that, right? I was so excited. One of my dearest friends, my girlfriend in high school, introduced me to these concepts. I wasn't even old enough to do it. When I hit 19, when I could do it, I went right in there. And back then, when you did the training, it took you 4 days, two nights, another weeknight, all kinds of time to take it. And it was, for those of us who were in on it and were assistants in the training and trainers and supervisors and all of that, we knew that the training took that long because people couldn't get to the part that they needed. It actually took 3.5, 4 days to get people to the point where they could perceptually understand what the training was, right? And then that training takes only a couple of hours, right? And that's because back then we thought our perceptions were reality. Remember that part? When we thought that reality was what if you did the S training, you might have learned it there. It changed my life to understand that my perception's not reality. It is absolutely not reality. And so when we begin to think of who the enemy is or what the enemy is it real? Is it real? Look, I get it. I love a good story, don't you? I love a good enemy. We all love a good enemy. Absolutely. We're actually wired for it, and we have some cognitive biases. First, it's just hard to resist assigning blame. Am I the only one? Oh, thank you. It's hard to resist that. We have evolution to thank for our cognitive biases, our brains, the ego. The ego actually takes mental shortcuts instead of considering complex reasons for someone's behavior. Now, here's what I didn't know, but when I was doing research for the talk, pretty interesting to me. We have a just world hypothesis, and it's why we blame victims. We want to believe that the world is fair and just, and it leads us to assume that bad things happen to bad people, even when that's not actually true. Again, so we're looking for a shift in perception here, right? And it's just scary, isn't it? Isn't it scary to admit that bad things can happen randomly or unjustly? So your brain is gonna go ahead and create a false sense of order. And really, we really need a bad guy because we enjoy narrative comfort. So we're storytellers by nature. See, a narrative with a clear villain provides a sense of narrative structure and meaning, and it simplifies complex realities into a more digestible narrative. A good storyline is good versus evil, right? And when we let go of a narrative like that, it feels like losing a comprehensible framework for understanding the world. So that can be unsettling. So I'm just admitting today, I might be asking some of you to do something kind of big. But you can start small, and as we move forward, I want you to understand what we're talking about today doesn't suggest giving up your convictions. Forgiving and giving up your bad guy doesn't mean giving up your convictions. So, what does that look like then? Well, let's take, for example, if you haven't noticed, a little theme today. What if we just looked at this through the lens of the Wizard of Oz? So, you might have also noticed, if you are familiar with the musical Wicked, that Courtney and Lex, not from the first part of the film, it is actually from Act 2 of Wicked. The song they sang today is from Part 2, in Act 2 of Wicked. But let's talk about the Wizard of Oz first. In the Wizard of Oz, we've got some bad guys, just like say, the codependent triangle. We familiar with that? Or is some know it as the dreaded drama triangle. So a victim feels powerless. And that victim is convinced that someone else, say a persecutor, is responsible for their suffering. And that would be Dorothy. If you want to throw that slide up, there you go. Dorothy, she's our victim in this case. She has been victimized by the bad guy. Who's that? That's right. Who's her rescuer? Exactly. So if we identify as a victim, we need a persecutor to blame. If we identify as the rescuer, we need a victim to save. And if we identify as the if we identify as the persecutor, get this, we reinforce our own unworthiness. And that's why we so often default to making someone else the bad guy. It gives us this sense of control, even if it's an illusion. In our judgments, there are projections. Again, shifting that thinking. Our judgments are our perceptions. And they are our projections. So if we label someone a persecutor, we are ignoring our own responsibility in the dynamic. And when we play the victim, we relinquish our power. And when we try to be the rescuer, we assume we know what is best for others. But there's an antidote to this, not only just in your thinking. Jesus calls us out. He calls out the dreaded drama triangle in Matthew 7:3-5, if you're reading along. So Jesus calls us to step out of this triangle here. He says, why do you look, you've heard it, why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? How can you say to your brother, let me take the speck out of your eye, when all the time there is a plank in your eye? You hypocrite. First, take the plank out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to remove the speck from your brother's eye. Take a deep breath with me. So first, I want to say that I think this message was done by the time that Lex and Courtney did their song. Really. Heidi brought a prayer that was beautiful. Rudy gave us great work with that. But I brought something too. So what happens if we invert this triangle and use wicked? So, who's seen, I didn't ask who had seen The Wizard of Oz, because that's in the zeitgeist of the American film. That's just in our zeitgeist. But who has not seen Wicked? Anyway, a few. Okay, so here's the story of Wicked, really quick. So this story is told from the perspective of the Wicked Witch. And it is before anything happens with Dorothy. And she winds up taking her sister, remember her sister, the Wicked Witch of the East? So she takes, due to her father's request, she takes her sister to school. And she wasn't going to go to school. She was just taking her sister to school. And one of the professors there discovers during that time that Elphaba, the Wicked Witch, has a gift. She makes her room with Glinda, and they become friends, like what happened here. But they were very much enemies. Here's the thing with Elphaba, though. She never, ever is willing to be a victim. Through circumstances with her birth, her father blames her for many of the things that happened after that. She is persecuted by, in fact, the wizard and many others. In fact, Glinda didn't like her at all to start with, and they become friends. So what if we inverted that triangle, in fact? And I'm just using something called the TED triangle, if you remember TED, the empowerment dynamic from 2006, to help us understand this a little bit. So again, the perspective that we create here is that Elphaba is a creator. She's not a victim. She's a creator. Through everything in her story, she stands up for who she is, despite the appearance of anyone disliking her. I mean, she comes to school and she's green and everybody else looks like humans and munchkins and all of these things. Never once does Elphaba rescind her power to anyone. She is a creator. And then we take that challenger, the persecutor, we take that challenger. She is challenged by plenty of folks. You'll see up here that she is challenged by Glinda to start with. You'll see Jeff Goldblum up there. He plays the wizard. He definitely challenges her. He, in fact, has the line, everybody knows, everybody comes together when they have a good enemy. And he becomes a persecutor to Elphaba and convinces everyone that she's the wicked witch we came to know in The Wizard of Oz, when she had actually only come to him for help. So, there is also a coach rather than a rescuer. In Elphaba's case, you can see here that Glinda becomes a friend, and she's a coach. If you remember the song Popular, that's definitely a coaching song. And the romantic interest here, Fiyero, she has a couple of professors. So you can see from this perspective what happens when we become creators is that everyone can become a coach or a challenger or present us with an opportunity for assistance, right? But that only comes if we change our perspective. And I know, again, in some cases, all of us, at some point or another, have been victimized. Now, understand that I'm working with the distinction here, that doesn't mean we have to be victims. So that's an affirmation and a denial. We deny being a victim, but we do know that in some cases, people, including ourselves, have been victimized. Now, and I also understand that this may not be possible for some folks. Have you heard of the idea of adjacent possible and adjacent not possible? You know, so in some cases, something is, when you can see something as possible, that's adjacent possible. It's not come true yet for you, but it's adjacent possible. And then there are things that are absolutely out of your realm, like, I'm never going to give that guy up. I'm not going to give up my, no. That we prefer to be right about someone than to give up our bad guy. And my invitation to you in that case is to take advantage of friends, healthy friends, take advantage of chaplains. I assure you, if you ever came to me and said you were having trouble forgiving someone, I would tell you, until you can, I'll do it for you. And if you have friends and if you have people in your life that aren't there yet, maybe you can offer that up to them as a gift. You can forgive folks for them. Now, if you think adjacent, not possible, is way out there, I just want to share with you Kathy Schwanke and Eileen Ramsey. We have some people here who know them. I know that. Kathy was a big licensed Unity teacher here, and Eileen was one of our associate ministers for many years. Some time ago, Kathy and Eileen's brother was murdered. And their sister-in-law was taken as a human shield for several hours by the guy who killed their brother. And I want to talk about a couple of heroes to you today. They forgave him. They were able to form perceptions, to use the third principle, and to understand some greater meaning to what was going on. They became creators instead of victims. And I think we can do it too. I think we can do it too. But there is some stuff we have to do to get there. So Rudy spoke to some of that, and I'm going to speak to a little bit of it too. There is a prayer from the AA Big Book. It is what many of us in 12-step programs use to release resentment and to let go of those thoughts that keep us from forgiving those who we presume had harmed us. It goes like this. If you have a resentment you want to be free of, if you will pray for the person or thing that you resent, you will be free. If you will ask in prayer for everything you want for yourself to be given to them, you will be free. What? Ask for their health, their prosperity, their happiness, and you will be free. Even when you don't really want it for them and your prayers are only words and you don't mean it, go ahead and do it anyway. Do it every day for 2 weeks and you will find you have come to mean it and want it for them. And you will realize that where you used to feel bitterness and resentment and hatred, you now feel compassion, understanding, and love. This great experience that released me from the bondage of hatred and replaced it with love is really just another affirmation of the truth I know. See, forgiveness helps us move from ego-driven correction to spirit-led compassion. It feels heavy. Is it heavy a little bit? Yeah, let's take a breath. So you know, you can start small. Maybe the person who cut you off in traffic. Maybe the person who jumped in line or what have you at the grocery store. How about that? And remember, we always have the third principle. Again, we create our experiences through thinking. And everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. Simply releasing those thoughts. Rudy mentioned Charles Fillmore. And Fillmore, you guys remember that Charles Fillmore, if you're new, Charles Fillmore and Myrtle Fillmore were our co-founders. And Charles Fillmore used to spend an hour a day at night forgiving, going through his day and forgiving every single person that he felt that he needed to forgive. I don't recommend that necessarily for you, but 5 or 10 minutes might not hurt. So we're in some divisive times. Am I right? Okay, I'm just checking. And this may be difficult. It may be tough. This may be really hard. We are looking, some of us, at some very serious big things that are shifting. The country is transforming. The change happens every day. For some of us, it feels chaotic, right? But in 1936, Charles Fillmore's son, Lowell Fillmore, wrote something called Unseating a Tyrant. And my beloved Tammy read a little bit from that during the Unity Spiritual Moment some weeks ago. And I'm going to offer this to you. This is big, but I'm going to offer it to you this morning. Lowell says, we may not realize that evil conditions actually grow out of an accumulation of the negative mental attitudes of a number of individuals. Your careless thoughts and words of fault-finding may be doing their bit to stir up trouble in some fertile, receptive mind. Often the best way to accomplish a reform is to find an entirely new way to tackle that fearsome evil that needs reform. The first and usual method that comes to one's mind is to do something in a physical way to destroy the evil. But we stop there, grumbling, threatening, but actually doing nothing. There is another way, a way that is not very popular or very well understood, yet it can be followed by everyone without fear of personal harm. It is a marvelous method by which one can annihilate evil without hurting anyone. Bless the person who seems to be the culprit. Sincerely ask God's blessing on him. I know that this is contrary to popular feeling and good old popular common sense, so-called, but after all, what we sometimes need is popular uncommon sense. And I got a lot of quoting going on here, but these people, their words are just so much better than mine. So we'll just do it that way. So Emily Cady really has it going on, and she has this to say about forgiveness. I don't know what she's got to say about forgiveness. It's in here somewhere. Oh, that's great. Maybe I'll read it from there. What do you say? Okay. So Emily Cady, for those of you who don't know, is another one of our principal teachers here in Unity. And she is old school. Did Lowell mess around? That was, they did not mess around, and neither does Emily Cady. She says, we must forgive as we would be forgiven. To forgive does not simply mean to arrive at a place of indifference to those who do personal injury to us. It means far more than this. To forgive is to give to give some actual definite good in return for evil given. One may say, I have not a personal enemy in the world, and yet if, under any circumstances, any kind of serves him right thought springs up within you over anything that any of God's children may do or suffer, you have not yet learned how to forgive. Ellen's face. That's great. You have not learned how to forgive. So my invitation to you is, most of all, as you go forward today from this talk, is to be really gentle on yourself. Be gentle on yourself about whatever you may have stirring around. And I do want to say, when I did the training, as I mentioned to start with, at the start of that training, the trainer told us by the end of the weekend, we would love every single person in the room. We would just fall in love with every single person in the room. I've kept it with me for ages. I've kept that little piece with me for ages. And when you're in the room with people who are going through their just running through their issues, and they're not letting them go, and you're frustrated, and you're there for hours, and the training does last from like 8 in the morning till sometimes at that time 2 or 3 the next morning. People are frustrating you. They bring up everything that could possibly make you mad just about. So it was, what? You're going to fall? I'm going to love every person in this room when I leave? I will tell you, I did. I will tell you that I did. But it took that little gift that was given to me by the Holy Spirit at that time, which was to change my perception of the people that I was listening to. Really to understand and to appreciate that they were a part of me, that those aspects were somehow, like Lowell speaks about here, pieces of my thought, pieces of my annoyance or my unwillingness to simply let that all go. And with that, I'm going to leave you with a poem. Hafiz. This poem's called Forgiveness is the Cash. Forgiveness is the cash you need. All the other kinds of silver really buy just strange things. Learn from those addicted lovers of gold and opium. They cannot jump high or laugh long. Forgiveness is part of the treasure you need to craft your falcon wings. Everything has its music. Everything has genes of God inside. Bless you. Close your eyes. Take a breath deep in the belly. Drop your tongue from the roof of your mouth. Maybe release all those muscles that are tense in your forehead. And bring yourself fully into the experience of being in your own body. Breathe again down to your toes. Let yourself melt into the support of the seat you're in. And imagine yourself protected. Perhaps you can imagine a gold light around you. And I invite you now to consider someone, something, some situation that has been living outside your heart and invite it in. An invitation to make whoever or whatever has not been safe in the roads of your mind safe again. And I invite you now to consider this affirmation. I release my need for an enemy and embrace the divine opportunity in every challenge. And as you consider that affirmation in the silence, I welcome you to shine that golden light on any situation or person you've brought into your heart. As we begin to bring an awareness of the room around us back into our consciousness, I invite you also to release that situation, release that person. Into the light of God. And into the awareness and relief of the truth that there is nothing you must do beyond releasing the situation or this person to God. And when you're ready, just bring yourself back into the room and open your gorgeous eyes.
Now is our opportunity to support our spiritual community and experience the true power of giving and receiving through our offerings. Will the ushers please step forward? There are several ways for you to give, and they are all showing on your screen. No matter how you give, we are grateful for your generosity, and please know that you are abundantly blessed. If you are joining us online today, there's a link to give on the service description. If you are here with us in the sanctuary, there are laminated cards with QR codes on them in the pew racks in front of you to allow you to give electronically if you wish. If you've already set up automatic giving, there are small cards you can hold while we speak our offering affirmation together, then place in the offering basket to represent your gift. Now, if you will please join me. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I circulate, and I am grateful. Thank you.
You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. Oh, the sun will keep on rising in that old familiar way. Every little thing is gonna be okay. You're gonna be alright, darling. You're gonna be alright, 'cause the stars will keep on shining through the darkest night. You can know you're gonna be alright. Lift your eyes to the hills, remember where your help comes from. Lift your eyes to the hills, you'll never face a valley alone. 'Cause even when your heart is breaking and you've gone and lost your way, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay. I know that you're gonna be okay. Not a care in this whole world can take that truth away. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be alright, darling. You're gonna be alright. At the end of all our breath, when we're beckoned unto the light, love will meet you there. You're gonna be alright. At the end of all our breath is the beginning of a new life. You're gonna be alright.
Oh, yeah. Try to just get, look who's up here. Will you join me in blessing the offering? Oh, loving Spirit, we are indeed so divinely gifted by the hands that gave us this prosperity. And we affirm that these gifts go out into the world and that they bless those who receive it. We are indeed grateful for all the prosperity, all the gifts, all the love, and all the people here at Unity Church of the Hills. Thank you, God. Amen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Heidi Gudelman, and I have the honor and blessing to be serving on the board, and I thank you for this opportunity. Is any of the search committee here today? If y'all don't mind standing up, I'd like to acknowledge y'all, the board would, and all of the congregation, because they're still continuing to do their work. And we say thank you for that. We announced last Sunday that the board has been doing interviews with our candidates. And we received some feedback last Sunday about the announcement regarding this search. And so we wanted to be clear with you about our communication. So I'm here to assure you, our congregation, that we will have candidate visits, and they're going to come here, and you all, our congregation, will be given the opportunity to share your experience of the candidates. That's always been our intention, and I wanted you to know, and we all want you to know, that we will be sharing more each Sunday during board announcements and also in our newsletter, etc. So it's happening, and we just want you to know that it's moving along as it should. So you'll see more in the days and the weeks to come. And I hope you all enjoy your picnic today, all of our picnic. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy Daylight Savings. How about a few announcements? We've added a new feature to the weekly newsletter outlining our weekly wellness offerings and monthly healing journeys. If you have not subscribed, scan the code on the screen behind me or go to the website and click on newsletter. Set an intention to stay informed and support our spiritual community. Our monthly events this week are tomorrow evening, a cacao circle with Anaya in Friendship Hall at 6:30. Followed by Paul Hubbert's holographic sound meditation in the sanctuary, and grounded gatherings with the Latoya, the Inked Alchemist, on Thursday evening at 7 p.m. in Friendship Hall. As always, you can get more information and register online by clicking the What's New button on the UCOH website. Join Anaya at noon on Saturday, March 15th, for Awakening Spring, as we prepare for the arrival of this welcome season. We will gather near the labyrinth. Join us Saturday, March 22nd at 6:45 p.m. for the annual Iftar dinner. This delicious traditional meal is lovingly prepared and provided by our Turkish brothers and sisters to invite us to join them in breaking the Ramadan fast. Don't miss this valuable opportunity to connect in unity. Register today. Next Sunday, Esther Nicholson, founder and CEO of Soul Recovery, will be bringing the talk and special music for our 11 a.m. service. Then at 1 p.m., her workshop on the Healing Code of Forgiveness will be in Friendship Hall. Then on Monday, she will provide space for private one-to-one sessions. Here she is to share more with you.
I'm Esther Nicholson, CEO and founder of Soul Recovery, a program that provides a clear and comprehensive roadmap for individuals, groups, communities, and organizations to reconnect with their authentic self. There are so many of you who might be feeling so emotionally overwhelmed, hurt, confused, and maybe even experiencing feelings of hopelessness. Perhaps you're trapped in the same emotional and behavioral patterns that seem impossible to break. And maybe you're blaming yourself and asking, what's wrong with me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns, replaying the same negative loops, or feeling so anxious, unsafe, and afraid all the time? If so, I want to invite you to my workshop, The Healing Code of Forgiveness, Freedom from Shame and Trauma.
Every Sunday, prayer chaplains hold sacred space during the service and are available for you in the chapel immediately following. If you'd like to pray, share a gratitude, or ask about becoming a chaplain, come to the chapel or look for a friend in a purple sash. If you're online, you can call Silent Unity to pray with a chaplain. The number is on your screen. Monday evenings, join Reverend Cynthia Vermillion Foster for a Zoom prayer circle at 6 p.m. Please register online to get the link. Now it is time for us to say goodbye to our online participants. We appreciate you joining us, and please forget to share, like, and subscribe, and have a great day. Now let's welcome the children in.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.